Hey Daniel, welcome to LaunchDay.
Hi, Daga. It's good to be here.
Yeah, so I've known you for so long, but I don't really know you, which is
hmm
interesting. I've known you since I think I started on Twitter. We are like, I don't know, first 100 followers or something. So that's like the beginning. I think if I look at people I follow on Twitter, you're like and I scroll at the bottom, it's you. Like it's like, I think, let
Yeah,
me
yeah.
check.
I remember you as the guy posting really really deep cut memes, right? About just about
Yeah,
like self-deprecating, basically.
it was very much that. Okay, let me just check because I'm just curious to see if that's true what I just said. But yeah, yeah, I used to post. I tweeted about this recently because I always tweet, but I was like, uh, I used to be passive aggressive. Now I'm just aggressive, and that's how I feel right now. With my memes, it was always just like trying to say something in a fun way. You know,
hmm
it was there was a lot of bite. It was like very kind of spicy.
hmm
Uh, and now I'm just like, fuck this, and I stopped doing memes. I don't need to do memes anymore because memes was like my therapy. Now I don't need it. So yeah,
I'm a big fan of
yeah,
using social media to post funny things, you know. So like that's like half of what I'll post, or at least I hope it comes across as funny.
yeah. No, I hear it. Look, you're there. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine, 10, 11. 11
Holy
guys.
crap! Yeah, I
Yeah,
didn't realize. Yeah, I mean, yeah, we started following each other. Yeah, years ago at this point. It was
yeah.
oh man,
We go way back, like they say. But I still don't really know you. And I think you kind of disappeared from Twitter for a while, or no? Or was it just like less active?
I mean, so I noticed that you were super active, and at one
Yeah, for
point I
sure.
did
Yeah.
mute. I muted you just because my feed became you, and I was like, okay,
Yeah,
I
that
have
can
to,
happen.
have to, I
Yeah.
have to mute Dago because he's funny, he's great stuff, but it's only him. I'm like, okay, I
Yeah.
have to mute him for right now. And then I bumped into you on a Twitter space or X space, which was awesome because I was like, oh, this is the first time I'm hearing this guy's voice. This is great, and that was only like within the past few weeks.
Yeah, that's awesome. And
Uh,
you're part of Small Bets, right? And we also, that was like this whole thing.
hmm
Yeah.
Yeah. I joined them earlier this year just to see what it was about, just to meet a bunch of other people working on their projects and get to know more people.
Yeah, yeah. And so you didn't really know me until a few weeks ago when you heard my voice. And I don't really know you. So how would you introduce yourself? Because I'm curious.
Oh man, yeah. I mean, that's like the such a tough question, right? Uh, yeah. I mean, I think of myself as a software guy, right?
Yeah.
I have my own little company where I do some consulting, and then I also like split my time, like half doing work for other people, half work doing for myself, right? And so I've been, I guess indie hacking for years now, right? Working on you know, project after project, seeing what works, what doesn't. Most of it doesn't work, um,
Yeah.
and yeah, and a lot of kind of the unique things I'll do is a lot of hardware stuff compared to most people who do
Oh,
indie
interesting.
hacking. Yeah,
Like
so
what?
like like this week I'm actually helping out I'm helping out an engineering firm with doing some drones, right? So they need help like assembling and creating more drones of a certain type that they're building. So this week I'm just helping out with that, right? A lot of wiring, soldering, and helping put them together. So
That's awesome.
that's
Did you do
that's
any
kind of
indie projects with hardware yet?
it's tough because I've thought about doing ones that I launch and do hardware myself, but it is incredibly risky, right? So I've open sourced some projects just to put out
Yeah.
a sense of like a feeler to be like, hey, is this something people would want or interested in? Like recently I put one out that was just a concept for a trail camera. So like you could just get pictures of if you put a camera on a tree and you're wanting to take pictures of wildlife, is this something people would want, right?
Oh,
Right.
interesting.
So,
Like GoPro, but for like wildlife or something. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So like, what's cool is
Go squirrel.
um,
I'm just brainstorming, but yeah.
yeah. So the electronics board company sponsored that project, and so it like made use of satellite communication and 4G, data. So like cell data, and it's just really cool because you could just kind of set this up anywhere in the world, and
Yeah, yeah.
it could send you back a picture, right? Um, and that's just like incredibly cool to be able to do that, right? Thinking back to like
So
being a
wait, you build
teenager.
this?
Yeah, it's actually on my GitHub. You
Oh
want me
yeah, but
to?
like the production side is like the difficult, like the very risky part. So for now, it's
I
like
mean,
an open source thing.
I built
Yeah.
one, and I put it out there and shared it with people. And so if somebody wants to take it and commercialize it fully, like they have at it. It's licensed in a way where people can try it and take in and go with it.
Did you
But yeah,
consider doing a Kickstarter or something like that? Raise funds for
um,
building?
it possibly, but it does take quite a bit of marketing effort to
Oh yeah,
to
yeah, for
get
sure,
that
yeah.
to get that out there. I mean, I am part of a few a Discord community that's all just
Yeah.
hardware people, and you'll see them, do Kickstarters. There is also like a specific fundraising platform for hardware called Crowd Supply,
Okay.
um, which I don't know if you've ever heard of that one, but that's one
Let
that
me
I've seen
check.
people do.
Crowd supply. Hmm. Interesting, yeah, engineer based. Yeah, but it's like okay. But it's not really consumer products at this stage. Seems. It's still
Yeah, yeah,
mostly
yeah.
circuit boards and shit.
That
Yeah.
one that one is interesting, yeah, because you'd be basically what one of my friends calls beat a geek, right? So you'd be selling
Yeah,
to
B2G. Okay.
yeah, you'd be selling to other hardware enthusiasts,
Yeah.
right?
Which is
Um
similar to doing eye to eye, which is indie maker to indie maker, which is also trending right now. Yeah.
is that really trending?
No, I'm kidding. I just realized I don't know. It was in a tweet comment and I started doing it, saying it because that's what a lot of us are doing. We're just indies selling to indies. It's kind of like stay
hmm
small in a way. So
hmm
maybe not the
Yeah,
best move, but we'll.
I thought the trend nowadays is to say you're a 5-year-old who started a company, right?
Oh my God. You see this guy, this 10-year-old kid uh, who got viral with this. And I was just thinking, just his dad, probably 10 years failing on product hunt, really cool
hmm
ideas, but never good marketing. Eventually, his son grows up. He's a bit of a nerd, and he thought, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna do it. Because the
Is that
product that his son built is not a product a kid thinks about, I think. Because the product his son built is like a way to block scammers when they call you. What the fuck?
this
Like it.
this is the one where like he's holding up the $100 bill or whatever, like
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
trying to
yeah,
give it
yeah.
away or something.
He's trying
Like
to give away
yeah.
$100 to his followers. He's 10 years old. Okay. Maybe that's true. Probably not. I don't know. Maybe there's an explanation. There's sometimes crazy explanations for things. So I always give the benefit of the doubt. But like, it's just funny. Like, I just imagine this guy, like the father or something, or the uncle, like just like on product hunt or like trying to launch and it's failing. And then, you know what? I'm just gonna go all in. I have nothing to lose anymore. Fuck this. And then his
You,
son is
you,
like, yeah, build this.
you know
Yeah.
what's funny? I think this same thing that you saw, like that's potentially like an indie maker or indie hacker and their son. I think the same stuff happens out on the in California, but for founders, right? For people who are like in tech, like the big tech scene. I think the
Hmm.
same thing happens with you've got like parents who basically raise their kids to basically go in and start a tech startup, right?
Oh
So
yeah.
like I, I
Oh, I
think I
don't
think
know.
it's like
Where are
I
you
think there's
based?
like
You're in the US or you?
I'm in near Chicago, so I'm based
Oh
out of
yeah,
St.
okay.
Charles, Illinois. So right now I'm actually close to downtown Chicago right now. So I'm
I
taking
see, I
the
see.
call before helping out with building those drones.
I see. I see, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I haven't been in San Francisco in a long time, so but I see it does seem weird. Uh, Lots of young people getting lots of attention for building new startups with VCs and like very young people from the Bay Area. Uh, that's an interesting scene, but I'm not connected, so I don't know exactly how that works.
I get the impression that it's like, somebody who already is established. I feel like there's a pattern where if somebody's parents is already established in engineering or in
Yeah.
tech out there, that their children go into it, right? And it's kind of the same thing, right? With having your your son pose with $100 bill online,
And
right?
there's
But it's
definitely
to a
like
different scale.
yeah, there's definitely a bonus to being a young tech genius or being perceived like that. There's always a bonus to that. Like I started, when I was 15 and I had a real job paid like part-time job at 17 building websites for a French company when I was just like still in high school, but I had a real job contract and everything. And there is something when they think you're this young tech genius, I was like 16, 17, they just think, it's just like makes people like think you can do anything. I don't know, like it's for a few years you have this bonus. Like I had this bonus until like, I don't know, 22 or something. I remember it. So there's something with that. If you're young enough and you're mature enough, you can capitalize on it actually. Probably. Yeah. But 10 is definitely very young. It seems fishy, man. Yeah. So yeah.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah, it's there's a certain point where yeah, it's being ridiculous. So,
Yeah, yeah. Um okay, so hardware products, but I don't think that's the product you are on launch day for. It's not a hardware product.
no,
So
no, I've been working on QR codes for a while, right? So one of the things is
your
I worked
profile
on
pic, that's how I
it,
remember you from your profile pic, which is half of
it
a QR code.
yeah, and that was like one of the first ones I had made because I was working on like a game startup or like a
Yeah.
game studio, I guess, years ago, and it fell apart, but it was a really cool concept. It was a mobile app where you could scan trading cards, like physically printed trading cards,
Yeah.
and you could play the game, right? So you'd buy the cards, scan them, and you'd be playing remotely with somebody else who has their own deck of cards, right? And we were going to be using QR codes on the cards themselves to scan them. And I thought, well, these look really terrible. I'd love to make them look nicer because
Yeah.
these cards will not sell if they look ugly, right? And I thought QR codes look ugly. Um, and so I started looking into like what techniques exist to make them look nicer. And there's there's some really great techniques. They're like that exist in the minds of like researchers that they've published a little bit something here or there about. But there wasn't really like a service for that, and I thought that was really interesting. So after that, I had started looking into it more and more. And every time I find a new technique, I just or I come up with it one, I just kind of add it to the service. All right.
QR codes are very interesting because it seemed amazing when it came out.
Mhm.
Then it became very boring for many years and we kind of like forgot to use them. And then
Mhm.
they become somehow trendy again. And now I mean, since it's in the default camera apps, also it helps. You just point it, you don't have to open a separate app. Because for years you had to have a QR code app, which seems insane now when you think about it, to
Yeah,
just read them.
that's when I got into it because I was thinking about you know, basically during COVID how you saw it become standardized in the camera app, and at the time working on mobile apps, I was just thinking about um, how, wow, I don't have to tell somebody to download something, right? Like
Yeah,
that
yeah,
would
yeah,
be
yeah.
so nice, right? This
Or
in
you
the
don't
same
have to type
advantage
the
of,
whole link, and sometimes the link is so complicated. Yeah.
yeah, and but just like all the QR scanners are built into the phones, and I was like, this is amazing. Why is no one talking about this? You could, you know, you could do so much with this, right? Um, and yeah, and then if you start really going down at the rabbit hole of like what people use QR codes for, it's kind of crazy. Like I've seen some indie hacker products where like people will replace their doorbells with them. So you just
Oh,
scan a QR code and it starts ringing your doorbell for you. It just it tells you who's at the door, right, on your phone, right? Things like
oh my
that,
God.
right? So I mean, if you just start thinking like, oh hey, I can encode a URL in this. What can I do with an API endpoint or a URL, right?
Yeah, makes sense. I
You
just
could
realized.
you could do an action, right? And so whatever that
Well,
action
actually,
is,
the gym I go to in France, it's a QR code to come in. Is the
really.
access. Yeah, so that's the same. And it regenerates every 10 seconds. So you cannot share it with someone. It has to be your app. You have to have your subscription active, and then they use it to control, and you can only go once per hour or something. You cannot, so they avoid cheating and everything.
Yeah, and
Uh
that's like what having a QR code is way cheaper than a key fob, right? So you can't beat the price of
then
a
a what? Because
slip
I'm
of
not
paper.
technical enough. What is the thing you
Oh,
said? Key fob?
a key RFID or like a little
An
plastic
actual
chip,
object that
right?
people have to have, a
Yeah,
chip. Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
for sure. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. And it's cool now. And like the only thing that annoys me with QR codes, and you probably have a solution for this, I hope that you can
Hmm.
tell me. How do I use them when they're on my Mac? And I want to open the link on my Mac. Like for example, somebody like you can share your Spotify playlist and it's like a QR code thing and you can send the
Hmm.
screenshot or you see it on your Mac. How the fuck do you open it? It's like the only thing that annoys me. It's like it's made for
Yeah,
phones.
yeah. I mean, you're definitely right about that. I mean, I typically, end up, I think Google Lens, I think, is something I've heard of. I don't know if it's on the Mac if that works, but normally I'll just look up like QR scanner, like website. I use like for me, it's like I'll use an Open CV library, which is like Open Computer Vision, and there's WeChat contributed some code to like do a really crazy QR scanner, right? So I'll just search for that, and I'll find somebody who's hosted some code for that scanner, and I'll just upload the image.
I'm just realizing there's no app. What I could just build this app like QR code reader on Mac, and I don't know. It just seems so basic. I don't know, but anyway.
Yeah, you'd be shocked at how well a QR scanning app can do on an iOS. Somebody
Yeah,
just
even
sent
though it's in
me.
the phone still.
Yep, somebody just sold me, or somebody just sent me a link to an app broker website, and the app broker is selling an iOS app, and they want to sell the iOS app for $30 million, and all it does is it scans QR codes, and it's got a few features beyond that, but that's what I saw it as.
It
And
makes me think of this clipboard app that save the history of your copy and paste,
mhm,
which is also basic as fuck. But I guess,
yes,
you know.
you
And
don't
then they
ever
try to make all these features, but come on. Yeah.
you, don't underestimate or you don't make the mistake of overestimating others, right? So like
Yes.
if you do understand technology, right? You're mapping what you know onto other people, right?
Yeah.
And you know a lot about your phone, you know a lot about your desktop or your computer, right? some people, they have a certain way of doing it. So it could be legitimately that they're just searching through the app store, finding this application, and then that's how they found it, and they download it,
How
and then they
much
pay a
money can we
subscription
make
for it.
with people not knowing you can use the camera app? No, that's a legit question.
I mean, who teaches you to do that, right?
Yeah,
Who
exactly.
teaches
And
you
there's so many
that
users
that's a
that a
thing
lot will
unless
not
you look
know.
into it? Yeah,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that's the stuff that blows my mind, right? Because it's like thinking about
Imagine the
stuff like,
fear, the fear of the founder of this company every time someone opens the photo app and accidentally is in front of a QR code and realize that the link shows up. You know, like,
yeah,
oh no,
yeah,
$5 a month
yeah,
I don't make. Yeah, so funny. But there's shit.
yeah.
There's so many businesses like this. That's so funny. Oh my god. Yeah. And you were talking about me projecting my knowledge of technology on other people. And it's really true. Like, 15 years ago when there was iPads and iPhones and all this shit was new, and, newborns, babies and kids, they started playing with it. And I remember, I had friends with new kids and I was like, oh my God, they're going to be so much better than us at computers. They are native and everything. And now they're like teenagers or grown-ups. They don't know shit. They don't know how to use a computer. They suck completely, most of them, because it's actually, and I think we're maybe the only generation, like between like 25 and 50 or something like that, or that we were at the right time to actually become good at computers because it was cool enough and doable enough. But now I think the new kids maybe, and that's why I think every time I see posts of people be like, oh yeah, look at my kid, what he built with V0. I'm absolutely not convinced it means this kid will be a builder or anything. It seems like making it so easy is also making people kind of like clueless about. And I don't know it's true, but I noticed it with kids where I thought 15 years ago, oh, they're going to be so good. And zero. I had to teach this kid how to print paper the other day. And so,
I think that there's just like a certain percentage of the population that like becomes really good with technology, right? Or really dives into things, right? I do think that like something I was thinking about with like the these vibe coding tools, right? Is like what I'll call like how there's like a black box, right? You don't know what's going, you know what's going in, what's coming out, but you don't know what's happening in between.
yeah, yeah.
And so I started thinking about like black box learning, or like or black onion learning, where it's just layers, right? So the first layer might be that you use V0, right? But then you peel, the person who really starts getting into technology, they peel that layer back and they learn
Maybe.
more, right? And so there's just like a certain percentage of people who are curious enough to figure that stuff out, right? And I think back to like, me learning how to do stuff with computers, and it's, it starts with you know modifying games and playing games online. I think I was really into Counter-Strike, and
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah.
putting together a computer so that way I could play some games online.
What was your favorite
Okay.
map? Your favorite map? Don't say Dust 2, like a real one.
It was a mod, Scouts Knives, right? That's the one I played a bunch of, right?
With
Where
only
they
snipers?
yes, it was only snipers, and they changed the gravity so you could strafe, and so you could be jumping around and like move fluidly, right? So that it was it was only your knife and only a sniper, and it was just so much fun.
And the scout, not
Yes.
AWP, so the shitty
No, just
sniper.
the
So that
scout.
takes
Yeah,
two
just the
bullets
yes.
or headshot.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're
Yeah.
just
Okay.
like
Oh my God.
you're just flying through the air, and you're just trying to shoot each other out of the air at the same time,
Oh my
right?
God. Oh, it's a bit too much for me, these mod maps. Yeah. I really like the militia, the
Mm.
CS militia. Where you have like this underground, this
Hmm.
sewers, you go through the sewers. You also have this big house with the windows, and you can snipe. Really like this one. Yeah. Oh my God. Where's the fun now? Where is our youth, man? It's over. We're cooked. Oh my god. So, uh, so anyway, your passion for QR codes, you have your profile pic like this. How did you come to build your product?
Oh man, I spent a bunch of time working on it, right? I think what definitely helped was, putting my profile picture as the QR code, right? Because people would
Yeah,
just send me things or tell me about things, right?
I just
As
realized, can
things
we scan
happen.
it? Can we scan this picture?
That
Is it
one scans,
to your
yes. That
website, I
one,
guess?
yeah, that one goes
Okay,
to to
let me check.
devmandan.com. And I've
Yeah.
tested it out to see how small it could be to scan,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Because it's quite
And
small. Oh yeah, let me try
you
it.
could
Very small, but yeah.
you could print this thing out to like being 1 centimeter by 1 centimeter, and it would potentially scan, right? Which is kind of nuts to think about, right?
Okay, small
Um,
profile pic doesn't work, but regular profile pic on your profile probably works. Yeah, it
yeah,
works. Okay. Such a cool pic, man. Oh my god.
one of the ideas behind it was thinking like, oh man, like if I made a post and it went viral, I'd get credit for it, and people would be fine. I've yet to have a post go viral, so.
What do you mean a post go viral? Like what's the
Well,
I
like
don't get it.
I don't know, like if you actually had a post, become popular, right? So I mean, you make posts that go, and get
Oh, and
a
people
lot of
would see
views all
your
the
profile
time.
pic.
Yeah, and so you'd have attribution to something you've posted online, right? Even if your name's not next to it, right? People could find who you are and what you're about just from if somebody were to screenshot a post on Twitter, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
like, a lot of content online gets reshared in other places, right? So if it goes and gets shared enough, it's just a screenshot that floats around online, right? Um,
You know,
and
I
so
had
how does
this
somebody get credit for it, right?
I'm not sure that's what you're talking about, but I had this theory with my memes. Because my memes, when I was, doing that every day, is 2 or 3 years ago, sometimes it was getting so massive, like even beyond Twitter, and I didn't even know it. Just some people send me screenshot, dude, it's going huge on Reddit or something, but I didn't know I was just on Twitter. And I thought, how can I get traffic from that? So I started putting a watermark. I created this website, Memelogy, where I put all my memes. It's still available, memelogy.co, if you want to see all the memes I made a couple years ago, like 500 or something. And man, I get so little traffic. A meme with like 1 million views. You know how much traffic I get? I get like 15. you know, fucking 15.
That's
When I thought, I'm like, at least I'm gonna get 200, then I can make a meme course, and I sell the meme course and I make some money. Impossible, man.
that's rough. That is rough
That is
because
rough. Yeah, I got probably,
just
I got tens of millions, literally tens of millions of views. But my meme website, oh my god, biggest spike was
mhm.
100 views in one day when I promoted it. So yeah,
Yeah, that's rough. Yeah, because I sometimes I'll use like if I make some work, right, and I have like I don't know, like if I make some UI design or something, and I
yeah,
give it to somebody as like as some design work, I'll put like a watermark, but it'll be my QR code, right? Or if I
that's
give
awesome.
somebody a
That's
proposal, right,
very cool
right, like
watermark. Yeah,
at the header of the page, I'll put that same thing, right? So if they need to find out more about me, they can just scan it, and it's like attribution, right? So I'll use it not just as a profile picture, but like, if I'm putting out a proposal to somebody, hey, here's this thing at the top of the page, you can find out more about me, right? So
yeah.
it's so much better than a URL, right?
And you
But
can
yeah,
have attribution because you make unique. Yeah,
yeah. And actually, I went to somebody sent me a post about a show in New York about just QR codes. So I ended up going like a couple earlier this year to New York. Crashed on a friend's couch who lives out
yeah.
there. And the only reason I knew about the show is because somebody knows me as the QR code guy. So they sent me a link to this. It's like, hey, you might be interested in
Awesome.
this. And there was a guy, he hosted a show only about QR codes. Everybody showed up and they just showed projects related to QR codes, right? So
That's
like,
amazing. You can be the QR code guy too. That could be your branding on Twitter. That's smart. I met a guy on Twitter, new indie maker, and his app
Hmm.
is Public Toilet Finder. So I
Yeah,
named
yeah,
him
yeah, yeah.
the Toilet King. And I'm like, you should use that as your brand, the Public Toilet King. It's more fun. It's more interesting.
I, I mean, yeah, I think that one I'd have trouble with if I was
No, it's
him. But yeah,
brutal, but you need something like me. When I started putting emopreneur, like people like it, man. It's funny. It's
that
like
okay,
you. It's
that is funny. That is funny
a
actually.
Public Toilet
That
King
is
is funny too. I would own it. I would own Public Toilet King 100%. Like this guy is famous for having this garbage company. This other famous guy on Twitter. He could be
Mhm,
like the Garbage King or something. Which sounds a bit
mhm.
shit, but it's funny. So anyway, yeah.
There's a guy I found on Twitter. He does like he's a guy he raised a bunch of money and he's doing like uh some kind of IoT or like bidet kind of camera thing for toilets, right? So it looks at like your bowel movements or whatever. And
Oh
I
my
just
god,
post I just make poop jokes on his posts. So
for
like
sure,
just
makes sense.
and he's getting tired of me making these jokes. I was like, no, this is all you should be making jokes about this whole time, right? Everything you post should be just, appealing to middle-aged potty humor, right? Like as if you're a grown man making dad jokes all day long, right?
There's nothing funnier than poop jokes. Like I realize I farted 100,000 times in my life, and I still think it's funny. There's no better ROI than this. This is the most funny thing
Well,
in the
yeah, I
world.
mean,
Like,
people are. I've never. You can never exhaust that amount of like jokes that people would make about it, right?
yeah.
And yeah, it's too
So wait,
it's evergreen, you know.
we went super far, and let's show your product for a couple of minutes because I still want to see your product.
Sure, yeah, yeah, yeah. Let me share my
And
screen.
you were saying it was basically broken this morning and not ready. So we'll also put, on the
Well,
website an
I could
actual.
show. So I'll tell you what broke. So what broke is I was my so I have this right here, right? And this is
Okay.
a Gradio app, and it's embedded in the site, right? And right now it's broken because it's not embedded, right? So I have to recreate the UI,
Okay. Yeah.
which sucks because I migrated hosts. But this is basically the application right here, right? Um, and
So I
so
see a
like I have a few.
picture.
Yeah, this picture right here, I just uploaded it. This is just kind of a picture of myself. And this is like one style. So I've got one tab here for mosaic style. So if I click around here, I can pick what to take out of the image. So I'm just picking, myself. If I click create, it'll start creating a QR code and it'll scan to whatever URL you put into it, right? And then you can customize how it looks right here.
And
And do
how
a bunch of
complicated was it to find this algorithm to create the QR code?
I mean, I created myself completely, and
Oh wow.
it came out of a desire to want to be able to put them on curved surfaces, right?
Oh, so
So
that's a QR code. This thing.
yeah, so this is
No, it's if it's only if you zoom in. There's like multiple time QR code or just one.
yeah, this style has multiple. Uh,
Yeah, that's what you were saying. Mosaic. Mosaic.
yeah, it's a mosaic, right? And so you would print this up pretty big, maybe wrap it around
Wow.
a light pole, right, or whatever, right? And the big
I
idea behind
see.
this is that it's human readable, right? You look at this and it's
Yeah, yeah,
it's a
it's a picture.
person,
Yeah, yeah.
right? And you could you kind of get a sense of where this might scan to. Oh, it's like, hey, it might connect me to this person, right? And then I've got this other style here, which is more like AI. I just kind of clicked create, but it takes about 20 minutes for this one to be made. But you just you type in a prompt, and so the
Wow.
default prompt is White Cliffs of
So
Dover.
it's like a photo, like realistic photo, but the QR code is still embedded in the photo. It reminds me of these images of like in negative space that you can make with AI, where you can
Oh
create
yeah, yeah.
fake. It's
It's definitely in that alley of stuff, right? So it's
wow.
within that space, right?
It's embedding the QR code inside the image. That's an awesome idea. Wow. Or like, some images, it's a hamburger, but if you squint your eyes, it's like Obama or something. And,
Yeah. So you could make this kind of style, and and then I've got this other
wow.
style here, which you just kind of crop the image you upload. And then you just hit create. If it will actually click it. Come on. There we go. I don't know why that didn't click right.
Yeah,
But
no worries, man. Yeah.
looks like it's going through, but it takes about a minute. But yeah, these styles, I mean, the first style that I came up with was actually was the one you saw in my profile picture, and then
Yeah,
it
yeah.
started getting more ambitious from there. It was like, oh, hey, I can get more pixels in, right? I can change the version number of the QR code to get more pixels in, to get higher fidelity QR code to be put out. Oh, wait, where could I use that in, right? Um,
So you have
start
four
getting
style.
really
You have like
crazy with
the
it.
one of your profile pic, I guess, then the realistic photo, and then the mosaic kind of thing.
Yeah, so for overall styles, let's just get this one started as well. I don't know if this one's airing out or something, but it should be. There we go. Yeah, so here's another
Oh,
style,
so
right?
colored
So
one.
it'll take a photorealistic image and go. This one's another style, right? So I can.
Yeah, it's my favorite style, this one, because it's
Yeah, this one
lo-fi
works well with
fidelity.
like the lo-fi stuff does look pretty awesome, and you could use it in more situations.
And that's
And so
awesome
like
for like a business card. I mean, I'm just saying that, realizing nobody has business cards anymore, but still.
yeah, and so you could start playing around with all the settings to get something that's like of higher quality, right? So, you could start changing how much how much of the dark it takes from the original image, how,
Yeah. Oh,
thresholding
yeah,
it,
you have
changing.
complete control to make it look cool.
Yeah, and so that's the whole point of this, right? Is to make it
Awesome.
look look higher quality, and you could keep changing around
Yeah.
however much you want,
Wow.
right? And it takes some playing around with, but it's something that I think one of the ways I described it initially to people is like design software just specifically for QR codes. Um, and then, there's a bunch of other things I want to do with it as well, right? So,
Yeah.
add analytics on top, how many people are scanning. That's like very obvious stuff. And then, you know, also have it so when somebody makes one, hey, can they order it and get printed copies, after they're done, right? But yeah, I mean, this is the basic
I feel
idea.
like
This is
there
taking.
is a way to connect this. Like, I feel like, when you're online, everybody has a profile pic and you can click on it and see who they are. We could have
Mhm.
that in real life. I could have a t-shirt with this on it, like big. And if people see me, they scan me and then they have my page. I don't
Oh
know.
yeah, no, here, let me go and show you one that I made. This one right here. So this is my
Yeah.
friend's dog, right? And his dog's name's Pascal, and there's a corgi, right? And so I sent him a T-shirt in the mail, just because I wanted to test out printing it. But yeah, this
And it
goes
works with printing even on fabric
it
like this.
this one, yeah. So this one works. This style works on fabric, and as long as you make it large enough, so each of the individual codes can
Yeah.
scan, it
Because
works.
it's
And I
mosaic. And
think I
what
even
does
made
this
it so
dog links to?
this goes to his dog's Instagram page because his dog has an
Okay, I see.
Instagram page.
I see.
So
Oh
I thought
man.
this was awesome just to be able to do that, right?
It
Like
is
it's
awesome.
it's 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 so ridiculous but so awesome at the same time. And a lot of the this overly saturated color look right here,
Yeah.
where it's kind of like too orange or whatever, right? Is because it's meant to try to make it high contrast so it scans better, right? Uh,
Oh, I see.
and
Yeah.
so you can it's like 2.5 times the contrast, just to make the colors pop out more, right?
Yeah, I see.
And just so it'll scan more. And that actually came from this experiment of getting trying out making shirts, right? Let's see if I can show you another one that I did, because yeah, like
Yeah.
the idea of being able to put these on non-flat objects is really awesome. And if it
I see.
loads, come on.
Oh no, okay, that's not that. Okay.
No, I'm on a hotspot, so that's why it's loading slowly.
Oh wow, yeah, you have an Instagram page with all these examples.
Yeah, and so like a shirt, right? Another
Yeah,
example of
Marilyn
that,
Monroe, that's
right?
nice. Yeah.
You can have this is like a a singer, right? So this would go to some music that I shared, right? So if you
Yeah,
scan
yeah.
it, it goes to that person's music, right? And so you could just keep doing those, right? So I just think that there's a lot of stuff that people could do with this. So I think about
Yeah,
it more in the realm
I'm
of
just thinking
creative.
of the it's giving so many ideas, man. Yeah.
Hmm. It's in the realm of creative QR codes, right? So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
kind
this
of how I
AI
think
thing is
about it.
awesome.
Yeah.
All right, well, maybe it's gonna give me ideas. Well, thanks so much, Daniel, for being a part of this launch day and coming here and showing your product. And really happy to have finally met you after 5 or 4 years of following you on Twitter since the beginning.
Yeah.
It's funny how you can interact with someone and not know them, basically. That's funny. Yeah.
Hey. All right. Well, I loved being on here, and I it was great. It was great talking to you, and I appreciate what you're doing here with the launch day, and I think uh, you know I think it's awesome, and hopefully some people get some get their stuff in front of people, right, because of what you're doing.
That's what
So
I
that'd be
want. It's
awesome.
so hard to solve, but yeah, I think we can do it. So, yeah,
It's
let's
it's
get
tough,
people some sales. Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna
All
try.
right. Well,
Thanks, man.
have a good one, man. It was great talking with you. All right.
Yeah, you too.
All right. I'll see you.